Greetings guys and gals, this is XIJABERWALKIX bringing you the best in esports. Today we have StarCraft Brood War, the Shinhan Winners League, Set 5 of KT Rolster versus Hite Entus. This is going to be Flash versus Snow, and KT Rolster is in need of Flash because they are down 1-3 in this Set 5. So if Flash loses, then it is all over. This is going to be on Bloody Ridge. Flash spawning at the top right as the Red Terran at the bottom left in a sweet Hite Entus jacket is Snow. And before this game gets started off, I want to say that Nuke put a comment on my channel saying that, you know what, you should cast what you want and you shouldn't take the comment that Ranshin put on his channel too seriously, because they do get bombarded with a bunch of ads and trolls and stuff like that. And I definitely understand that. And you guys know that I didn't want to put ads on channels in the first place. It actually was an idea from my subs that I needed to advertise more, and so that's why I did it. And honestly, I don't think I would like it if someone put an ad on my channel, but so I can definitely understand his point of view from where he's coming from, because that would probably be very annoying, especially when you have that many subs. I bet you get quite a lot of ads. But I'm probably still not going to do OSL except for maybe the finals, just because my goal is for esports to grow in the United States, and for that to happen, I think it's better if I cover different games than they cover, so you guys can listen to various games in English commentary. And I don't know why I would even do a game that Nuke or Ranshin do, because they're obviously, you guys would obviously want to listen to them over me, because they've been doing a lot longer and they're veterans. That's actually a really cute kid. But they're veterans and they've been doing it for longer. We do see a gateway and simulator going down for Snow. He is obviously scouting in the right direction. And we might see a 1-Rax in the CC. No gas yet for Flash, and it is Flash, so no big surprise if he is going to go for that 1-Rax into CC build. Snow sees the Rax going down. He's sending another SCV out, probably for that command center is what I'm assuming. But yeah, I definitely appreciate Nuke putting that comment on my channel, so thank you, Nuke. And let's get back to the game. And one of the commentators' faces, apparently. We do have another supply depot going down. Still could go for this 1-Rax into CC build. Definitely still viable. Unless he's got his gas, then that usually means that he's going to go for some type of early mech push. But that gas is not there, so I can only assume that we are going to see the Flash 1-Rax into CC. Ooh, and gas still, that's really going to force him to go 1-Rax into CC now. Snow, meanwhile, looks like he is just doing the normal build versus Terran, probably getting his Cybernetics core up, researching Dragoon range, all that good stuff. He has a Zealot out, gonna try to put on some early pressure, and no Cybernetic core just yet. So trying to put a little bit of early pressure on with this Zealot. And I'm doing a KT versus Hite Entus game because you guys, I think you guys got a little bit annoyed of me doing a Bisu against blah blah blah, and Bisu against so-and-so, Bisu against so-and-so. Ooh, another gas steal! Usually what players do is when the Protoss steals their main gas, they go and take their natural gas and just send a bunch of SCVs to go mine from it, pretty much. And oh, this is really interesting play by Snow. Another Zealot is out, so his Dragoons are going to be a little bit later. Probably not going to be able to deal with this many Marines. He is bringing the other damage Zealot with him as well as a Pro, but there's just so many Marines there. Cancels the assimilator is what I'm assuming. Just from all that fire, now he's taken his main assimilator. His natural assimilator might go up as well, just to make up for the fact that he's not been mining gas for the first however long this has been. But yeah, you guys probably got annoyed of me doing Bisu games. So this is a Flash game. A little bit of change there. 3 Zealots in the mix now. Might be able to corner these Marines and are able to kill off 2, not losing any Zealots. Nice job by Snow here. Snow coming in with even more of an aggression. He's able to pick off 1 more. Also able to pick off another Marine and an SCV. Flash in a little bit of trouble early. You don't want to be even in terms of Zealots and Marines. That is definitely not an even battle, but I think Flash, with his massive APM, he's going to be able to deal with this. And still no Dragoons out for Snow quite yet. As far as I can tell, that final Zealot gets picked off, and now all there is a probe in the base, although it is a hero probe, as it does have 1 kill, probably a Marine kill too, which is even more epic, but it is going to unfortunately get picked off by this Marine. And so Snow putting on a little bit of early pressure, Factory going up for Flash as well. We do have the expansion, very early expansion for Snow. So very nice job of putting on early pressure and taking his expansion. We did see this core spinning, and so obviously that's going to be for Dragoon range. We still don't see any Dragoons out, still trying to do a little bit of harassment and attack. One Dragoon is finally out in the base. The SCV gets in right past it. It's going to be scouting everything that Snow has, unfortunately. He needs one more hit on that SCV. But that Zealot at the front of Flash's base, and it actually comes back. I don't know why it didn't persist on killing that SCV for some reason. Maybe he knew that the 2 Dragoons from his gateways were coming out. So I was like, there's no reason to be at the back here if Flash goes for a counter marine push or something. Robotics facility going down as well. I think that Snow would be very, very smart to go for his robotics bay first, just so he can get those Reavers out a little bit earlier. Might be able to do some harassment there, and that's how you win against Flash. You just keep him on his toes, keep up the pressure, don't let him get up to too many bases, don't let him macro up. You can't let him alone for too long. You need to keep harassing him, and especially attack in the early game. We see that machine shop spinning. Could be a number of things. Usually players like to go for Siege Tech first because the Dragoons push that bunker at the front of the 1-Racks into CC build. But since there's not that many Dragoons, he might be going for mines first, just so he can get those mines out a little bit earlier. Highly doubt he's going to go for Vulture speed, but that is also a possibility, actually. You know, I don't want to contradict myself, but if he went for the fast Vulture speed, then he'd be able to get into the main and do a little bit of damage, or even get into the natural and do a little bit of Vulture harassment there. We see the observatory first, so he assumes that Flash is going to go for the mines first, so he wants to get that observer out so he's able to pick off any type of mines that go on. The third base going up for Snow, very, very early third base. We do see that armory spinning as well, probably for +1 ground weapons for his siege tanks. We do see another command center going down, so Flash thinking about securing a third in the near future. This is quite the non-standard play. It's not like it's cheese or anything, but usually you don't see a big Zealot push in the beginning. Usually you see the Dragoons coming in, and usually you don't see that many Marines, and usually we get Siege Tech first, which is actually looks like what happened, but just it's not unstandard, but it's not super standard either, because usually the Dragoons push in and they attack the bunker, wait for Siege Tech to come, the Siege Tank pops out, and the Dragoons have to back up. But we didn't see that at all this time. The Dragoons haven't even pushed to attack. We just saw a little bit of a Zealot push, which was very good. So Flash did opt to go for the Siege Tech first. I think he would have been better off going for mines or something like that, so he could secure in front of his base and possibly secure other bases and just do some harassment as well. Missile turret's now out for Flash. The observer sees this, and luckily is not going to get picked off. We have Goliath already out for Flash, so it looks like he's not even building vultures for the time being. We do see the machine shop still spinning, possibly for Tron boosters. You might think that that Snow is going to go for something crazy like really early arbiters or something of that nature, even carriers, but I don't know about this map with carriers. There are a lot of ridges, not a lot of like open spaces like on the space tile set. I don't know what that's what it's called, but I call it the space tile set. But there are a lot of ridges, so I guess carriers would be sort of effective on this map. As you can see, pretty much the whole map has ridges that you can go in and out of. I still think arbiters are a better choice on this map. Machine shop's still spinning, and it looks like double stargates. Was that? I didn't see the first click. We see at least one stargate forge going down as well. Didn't see if he had his Templar archives. I kind of missed that. I know he had a Citadel of a Dune though, which is very standard. Obviously you want to get speed lots when there's siege tanks out in the field. But if there was a Templar archives, it's only kind of natural to go for those arbiters because you're still on the same tech tree. If you go the other way, then you get 2 stargates and a fleet beacon, and that's going completely different way. It's kind of pointless to do something like that. Here comes Snow though, attacking with some Dragoons. Gonna have to back up because that siege tank's going up. We see the 4th base going up for Snow as well. Looks like Flash is trying to take his 4th at that 1 o'clock base. More gateways going up for Snow. And he is super saturated in 2 probes that look like not really doing anything, so a little bit missed micro there. But overall, I think he's going to be okay. So now Flash does have mines. Obviously, he got them a little bit earlier. Didn't call that out, though, so just wanted to make it clear that there's mines there. Obviously, you can visually see that. But so it looks like for the machine shops, in terms of machine shops, he went for Siege Tech, then mines, and then possibly Charm Boosters, and then Vulture's Speed. It might be the tech route that Flash is going. Other than that, though, pretty much really a nonchalant game, just early pressure. We do see the Arbiter Tribunal going down, so that was a Templar Archives, not a second Stargate, which would definitely make sense, especially... It just makes more sense, I believe, to go Arbiters, because you want to get the Citadel of Adun anyways, because you want Zealot Speed, and if you already got that, you just need Templar Archives, and it's just on the same path. I guess it's the same amount of buildings, though, because if you want the extra Stargate and the Fleet Beacon, that's the same as getting a Templar Archives and an Arbiter Tribunal. So same thing, but I still think that Templar can come into play. With you have your Templar Archives, obviously you can do DT drops, you can do Storm drops, and if you go the Fleet Beacon route and don't get your Templar Archives, you can just get carriers, and that's it. And that's why I like Arbiters a lot more. Snow looks like he's slowly picking off these mines, and one tank shot going off. But these mines are pretty much useless. Might even be able to pick off this Vulture. Not really going to matter too much. Vultures are very, very cheap to make comparatively. We do have the first Science Vessel out, which is going to be very, very important when it gets EMP and when the Arbiters come out, because if EMP is an Arbiter at the right time, as we've seen before, that can definitely be a game changer. More gateways going up. We do see the Cybernetics Core spinning yet again. I'm assuming that's not going to be for +1 air, rather +1 air, I mean, obviously not +1 air attack, because Arbiters do like nothing. Probably +1 air defense for those Arbiters, so they can stay alive just a little bit longer. The first Arbiter is being... Oh, and he's also getting a Fleet Beacon! I don't like that play at all, so we might actually see +1 air attack now. I'm going to change my mind, just because you want that +1 air attack when you're talking about carriers and interceptors and such. And these, oh my gosh, these Vultures are just doing so much damage, absolutely taking out all the probes at Snow's 4th base. Unfortunately, he already lost all of his Vultures, but that mining time plus 50 minerals for each probe, I think that was very, very cost effective. He has 1 probe left, just 1, and just a little bit of a misstep by Snow there. We see the Cybernetics Core going up, so he's going to be getting both +1 air weapons and +1 air defense. And honestly, I don't. For 4 bases, you can do a lot, but I don't know about Arbiters and carriers. He's not going to have as many carriers as he necessarily needs, and I don't know about that play at all. I think that was definitely a mistake. You can't go super macro heavy against Flash. I keep trying to tell people this, but they don't believe me. They just don't believe me. Unless you're in a TVT, and even in that, I mean, Flash can just macro up so many units. Flash is very, very good. In his TVT matchup, it looks like Flash might have scouted this, actually, as he is building a lot more missile turrets. These possibly could be for the Arbiters. Don't know if he knows about the Fleet Beacon, but if he does, this is, in my opinion, bad for Snow, simply because I don't like that play. I don't like going for Arbiters and carriers. I haven't seen an Arbiter, so he might just been faking Arbiters, which is fine. It's not that bad. That's not going to put you back that much if you fake Arbiters, because then he's going to get up the Science Vessels, which are going to be not as useful against the carriers. They're obviously going to take shield away with EMPs and stuff, but not really as useful as they would be against Arbiters. Here comes Flash again with another attack on this base, and probes going down left and right. Not quite as many as the first time, luckily. Snow was able to micro just a little bit better. Probably got an extra cannon or 2 at that base. We do see our first Arbiter out. It looks like these Stargates are not producing anything except Arbiters for the time being, so might have even faked carriers. I have no idea, but there's no way he faked carriers. There's no way you go 3 Stargate Arbiters unless you're like the ballsiest Protoss player in the world and you just think you're up by a ridiculous amount, because Arbiters are expensive, okay? Arbiters are very, very expensive. I mean, carriers are very, very expensive, but carriers definitely a lot better than Arbiters in my opinion, per unit, if that makes sense. Like you just don't go 3 Stargate carriers, and I mean 3 Stargate Arbiters, and I don't want you guys to take that and be like, oh, well, I thought you said Arbiters was a better thing to go than carriers. It is. I don't like carriers at all. Some Protoss players can win with them sometimes, but honestly, I think it's more of the Terran player messing up a little bit and not macroing up enough Goliaths than it is a Protoss player actually winning with the carriers. Now all 3 of those Stargates are blinking, so we're going to see carriers out. We do have both Cybernetics cores spinning as well for those upgrades, and as of right now, his cursor, I don't know, why are you doing that? I think he has +1 weapons as of right now. Yeah, that's +1 weapons. Good stasis on those units. Here comes, no, not Snow. He just is like, there's so many siege tanks there. He needs to get another stasis off. All those units are cloaked. It's not going to really matter though, as Flash does have scan. Here comes almost, oh my gosh, huge mind drags by Snow. Flash in a ton of trouble now. Oh my gosh, it's like 4 and Storm going off on those tanks as well. Oh my gosh, that was like 2 of the biggest mind drags I have ever seen. Zealot bombs just being freaking amazing. I don't know if you can call them Zealot bombs, as there's no real shuttle dropping them off, but those Zealots just running in, killing so many tanks. But it looks like Snow doesn't have a ton of ground army at this point in the game. It looks like he has taken the top left base, so he might be transferring arbiters up, or transferring probes up to there rather. Gets his arbiter picked off. Units no longer cloaked. Not gonna really matter. There was a science vessel there, and those probes are going to have to travel so far to that top left base. Don't know if Flash has scouted these carriers. Doesn't look like he has, because he's not building Goliath, and this is really the only way you can win against a Terran player. Good storms. Very, very good storms there on the mech units from Flash, but that's really the only way you can win against a Terran player with carriers. A little bit of mixed micro there, not really using his probes, just sitting around. But if the Terran player doesn't scout your carriers and they come out fast enough, you're not going to have enough Goliath to really deal with this, and Snow actually might take this, as Flash looks like he has no idea that carriers are on the way. He's still making tanks and vultures. Not as many Goliaths as you need. Pretty much you need to macro up all Goliaths to deal with carriers. If you can do that, then you're going to be just very, very fine. You're going to be able to deal with them no problem. But as of now, he's not making Goliaths. He's probably switched to making Goliaths at this point in the game, but previously he wasn't, and so all these forces are going to be bad. And another way you win with carriers is you need a good ground force. You need Dragoons or Zealots to accompany those carriers. That's just so important. Storm, okay, Storm going out, hitting 2 tanks. But it looks like he doesn't, I don't know if he has that upgrade to carry extra interceptors. It looks like he doesn't. There's not a lot of interceptors out for Snow, and cannon rushing this 12 o'clock base. Snow is just pulling it all out of the bag, first with the early Zealot attack, then with the carrier arbiters, then with the cannon rush. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is actually going to be pretty effective, as SCVs had to come off the line, and he's going to be able to clean up any type of SCVs that are at that 12 o'clock base. Flash, meanwhile, is pushing in at Snow's front, and this might be bad for Snow. I think he's going to be able to handle that kind of force with his carriers, though. More Goliaths coming in. Very, very good Storm. Going to block pretty much all of those units coming in. Another good Storm by Snow. Snow's playing very, very well. And honestly, I didn't know that he could play this well. I mean, he is a decent player. Relatively low game count, though, as of yet, if I remember when I looked it up about 2-3 days ago. Sieging that 9 o'clock expansion is Flash, so Flash is definitely still in it, making Goliaths, but the Goliaths are getting picked off, and these 3-gate Stargate, or 3-gate carriers are doing a ton of damage. He still has about 5 or 6 in the mix there. Flash macroing up pretty much all Goliaths at this point, maybe making a few siege tanks to battle that ground army. That's usually what happens, is the Terran player will make a ton of Goliaths, and then the Protoss player will just be like, you know what, I'm gonna make Dragoons and totally overpower the Goliaths. So it's very, very good that he's still making tanks, keeping those tanks in the mix. Probably should siege up those tanks, though, in my opinion. Looks like he's not. He's just choosing to use their mobility rather than their siege tech. And at this point in the game, I think that Flash is definitely okay. He's still taking a little bit of damage, but I think that he'll be able to take out this top left base, and he'll be pretty much okay. against those carriers just because he's macroed up so many Goliaths. He's at +3/+3, I believe. And there's no ground defense for any of those Dragoon units or those Templar or anything. We do have +1 armor for the air units as well. I think that Snow is also upgrading at the time. Snow doing a very nice job of using this ridge to his advantage. You see that just such a big area that his carriers can fly in above, retaking that 9 o'clock base. Fans screaming. Meanwhile, Flash just demolishing pretty much that top left base from Snow, and now Snow is at 1, 2, 3-ish mining bases. I'd kind of call that 2.5 just because his main is probably very, very close to mine out, is what it looks like. And Flash is at 1, 2, 2-ish bases. So Snow's still in a pretty good position. Both players not really, it hasn't been decided yet, obviously, but it's going to be very, very close. These carriers just picking off these tanks, doing a very nice job. Meanwhile, Goliath just pushing in. Really no ground force for Snow. Unfortunately, he does have Templar, which he's going to be able to get some good storms off. He's been storing very, very well as of late. The Templar almost gets picked off, just not yet. Flash still moving in with his army, might be picking up another base as well, and he's just taking out so many units. There's just a ton of Goliaths, and with those +3/+3 upgrades, they're going to be a force to contend with. But here come the carriers doing a lot of damage as well. That Templar might get a good storm off, could change the tide of this battle, and those carriers really aren't taking that much damage. They're just, the Goliaths are just pretty much attacking all the interceptors, not getting a ton of hits off on those carriers. There's like about 7 or 8 carriers in the mix, more carriers reinforcing from Flash, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I honestly don't think that he has enough carriers in the, enough Goliaths in the area. If Snow really utilizes this ledge here, he's going to be able to take out these Goliaths pretty much no problem. I think Flash needs a little bit more Goliaths if he's going to be able to do this. Although Flash is also sieging at this 9 o'clock base, might be able to take it out. Not good storm there. Could have done a lot better. Could have led the Goliaths just a little bit more. Here come the Goliaths moving in. More Goliaths streaming in. We have a DT in the mix as well. This is probably going to get scanned and picked off, but I don't know if Flash really knows that his forces are getting attacked because he's just had to do so much micro versus these carriers. One carrier goes down. He still has about 7 carriers in the mix. Needs to put more economy into his ground army. He's just getting another base picked off, and Snow is in a little bit of a bad position. I think that going the Arbiter carrier mix was a big mistake. Big mistake. I think he just should have stuck with his ground units and Arbiters. I think that would have been a lot better. This expansion for Flash is going to go down, but still, Flash is doing so much damage. This DT finally getting killed. I wonder how many kills it had. All these SCVs probably going to go down, but no, the carriers aren't even attacking the SCVs. It really doesn't matter that much at this point. They're attacking the Goliath. Still moderately a close game. Not really that far behind. Snow isn't really that far behind, but honestly, I think that Flash is just a little bit ahead. As of the time being, Snow is just going absolutely into his base. Flash is going to have to pull back or try to go for a base trade, because Snow is actually at no mining bases. It looks like he doesn't have any mining going on. He's actually had to distance mine from this one patch that has 76 minerals left, and this is the last of Snow's carriers. And unfortunately for him, I think that Flash is going to come up on top if he just is able to make more carriers. He's been able to take down the bases though, so this might be the last of Flash's Goliaths as well. This might be just a starving battle from both players. The Goliaths are attacking the interceptors, not getting any hits off on those carriers. That mineral patch is down to 44 minerals. Picking off almost picking off a carrier. Yes, finally the carrier goes down. Snow still has about 6. Flash has re-secured that base rather, so he does have an income. Unlike Snow, Snow might be trying to pick up that top left expansion. Flash does have a command center that's going to the bottom right, I believe, to retake that base. And this is a crazy match. This is actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. I thought that Snow was going to get just ran right over, but Flash has shown that he can lose, obviously getting kicked out of both Star Leagues by Sock. Actually, not Sack. I always read it like an American in English. I don't know why, but the A sound makes aw. And Snow GG's. Flash wins. Snow actually had no mining. He was mining off of that one patch. Flash is coming out ahead, and like I always say, I don't like carriers, and I especially don't like Arbiters and carriers at the same time. But Flash pulling off the win and keeping KT Rolster alive, so if he can do an all-kill, that's really the only way they're going to win. Flash can't lose against Hite Entus for KT Rolster to win. Anyways, guys, if you like what you saw, please subscribe, give me a like, and comment below. Thanks, and I think that's all from me. I'm out of here. Lates.